Who was Khadijah really? The first Muslim, the first person on earth to believe that Muhammad was the prophet of God, the woman without whom, according to the prophet's own words, Islam might not have survived its most fragile first moments. One of the most extraordinary human beings in history, and one of the least known outside the Muslim world. The early life. Khadijah bint Khuwailid was born in Mecca approximately 555 CE, approximately 15 years before the Prophet Muhammad. She came from the Quraysh tribe, the most powerful and prestigious tribe in Mecca, and from a respected family of merchants. She was married twice before Muhammad. Both marriages ended with the death of her husbands. She had children from both previous marriages. She inherited and then independently built one of the most successful trading enterprises in all of Mecca, at a time and in a society in which women were treated as property, in which female infanticide was practiced as a matter of course, in which women had essentially no legal standing or independent identity. Khadijah was one of the most financially powerful and socially respected individuals in the entire city. She employed men to work for her. She directed trade caravans across the Arabian Peninsula to Syria and Yemen. She negotiated contracts. She managed wealth. She made decisions. She was known throughout Mecca and beyond as Al Tahira, the Pure One, for her character, her integrity, and the extraordinary quality of her personal conduct. This was before Islam, before any revelation, before any prophetic claim. Her reputation was built entirely on who she was, not on who her husband would become. Hiring Muhammad. When Khadijah needed a trustworthy agent to lead one of her most important trade caravans to Syria, she was told about a young man named Muhammad ibn Abdullah, known throughout Mecca as Al Amin, the trustworthy one. She hired him. He was 25. She was 40. He led the caravan with extraordinary success, returning with better results than she had expected and with her trust entirely confirmed. Her servant Maysara accompanied him and reported back not only on the commercial results, but on Muhammad's character, how he treated people, how he conducted himself under pressure, how he made decisions. Maysara also reported strange things, a cloud that seemed to shade Muhammad from the sun throughout the journey, conversations with a Christian monk named Nestor, who looked at Muhammad and said, "This is the prophet whose coming has been announced." Khadijah was not just impressed. She was moved in a way she had not expected. She sent a trusted friend to ask Muhammad how he felt about her. He expressed his feelings clearly. She proposed marriage to him directly. He accepted. The wedding took place. She was 40, he was 25. He took no other wife for the next 25 years of their marriage until the day she Continuing
Continuing
the
the
story of Khadijah, the most important years of her life and what she gave to Islam at its most vulnerable moment. The marriage. The marriage of Khadijah and Muhammad is described in Islamic sources as one of the great marriages in human history, not because of romance in the popular sense, but because of its extraordinary depth of mutual knowledge, mutual respect, and mutual dedication to something greater than both of them. They had 6 children together: 2 sons, Qasim and Abdullah, who both died in infancy; 4 daughters, Zainab Ruqayya, Kulthum, and Fatima. Fatima, the youngest, would marry Ali ibn Abi Talib, and through her, the lineage of the Prophet continues to this day. For 25 years, from his marriage to Khadijah until her death, the Prophet took no other wife. In a society where polygamy was entirely normal and even expected for a man of his emerging status and influence, this was extraordinary. It was not imposed on him by law or convention. It was his choice, a choice that speaks to the depth and completeness of what they had together. The first revelation, the moment everything changed. In 610 CE, when Muhammad was 40 years old, he retreated as he regularly did to the cave of Hira outside Mecca for solitary reflection. And there the angel Jibril appeared. He squeezed Muhammad and commanded, "Read." Muhammad was terrified. He ran home trembling and said, cover me," and Khadijah covered him. She wrapped him in a cloak. She held him until the trembling stopped. And when he told her what had happened, she did not panic. She did not doubt him. She did not question his sanity or his state of mind. She said, "Never." By God, Allah will never disgrace you. You maintain family ties. You help those in need. You assist the weak. You feed guests. You support those afflicted by calamity. She was the first human being on earth to respond to the Prophet's account of the revelation with complete and immediate belief, the first Muslim. Not because she was told to believe, not because of fear or social pressure, because 15 years of knowing this man had given her a knowledge of his character that no supernatural experience could shake. The role of Waraka. Khadijah then took Muhammad to her cousin Waraka ibn Nawfal, a Christian scholar who had studied the Torah and the Gospel in their original languages. Waraka listened carefully to Muhammad's account of what had happened, and he said, "This is the same angel who came to Moses. If I live until you are driven out, I will support you with everything I have." That validation from her Christian cousin was Khadijah's gift to the Prophet at his most vulnerable and disorienting moment. She knew where to go, she knew who to ask. She provided him not just emotional support, but intellectual and spiritual context for an experience that might otherwise have been impossible to integrate. The final part, Khadijah's role during the years of persecution, the devastating loss of her death, and her legacy in Islam. The years of persecution. After the first revelation came years of increasing persecution against the small Muslim community in Mecca. The Prophet was mocked, his followers were tortured, his family was targeted. The Quraysh organized an economic boycott of the Banu Hashim, the Prophet's clan, that lasted 3 years. No one was permitted to trade with them, sell to them, buy from them, or marry from them. Food and supplies were deliberately cut off. The community huddled together in a valley outside Mecca, subsisting on whatever they could find, at one point surviving on leaves and boiled leather. Khadijah endured all of this with a steadiness that her companions remembered and recorded. She had been one of the wealthiest women in Mecca before the revelation. She spent her personal fortune, her entire accumulated wealth, built over a lifetime of brilliant and disciplined work, supporting the Muslim community and the Prophet's mission. She gave everything she had without complaint, without condition, and without wavering. By the time she died, there was almost nothing left of the fortune she had built over a lifetime. The Year of Grief, 619 CE. In 619 CE, two catastrophic losses struck the Prophet within weeks of each other. His uncle Abu Talib died, and then Khadijah died. The Prophet called 619 CE the Year of Grief. Of all the losses he experienced in his life, the death of Khadijah broke something in him that never fully healed. He spoke of her throughout the rest of his life with a tenderness and longing that deeply moved everyone who heard it, and that his companions preserved with great care. He sent gifts to her old friends after her death. When he slaughtered a sheep, he specifically asked that portions be sent to women who had been her friends. His later wife Aisha reported feeling jealous of her because of how much the Prophet spoke of her. He said, "I loved her and was given love through her." He said, "She believed in me when no one else did. She supported me when I was rejected. She helped me with her wealth when I was poor." The legacy. Khadijah was given the title Sayyidat Nisa al-Jannah, the Lady of the Women of Paradise, alongside Fatima, Maryam, and Asiya. The Prophet received her greeting from God through the angel Jibril, a distinction recorded in Sahih Bukhari. She was the first Muslim, and she died before the Adhan was called, before the Hajj was prescribed, before the Eid prayers were established. She gave everything to something she would never fully see completed. What she gave Islam at its most fragile moment was not theology. It was a place for the Prophet to come home to, a person who knew who he was before God spoke to him. Like if this moved you, share with someone who has never heard her name. Subscribe. Truth every day. I'm Noor. This is Islam with Noor. Thank you for listening.